Okay, Juliana, hi, how you doing? I've got your work up here, and there's a couple of things that you're really excelling at, and I just really want to commend you because I think you're getting it. I really do. I think you're spot on. I shouldn't say spot on, but you're on target. You really are. I have a couple of comments that I think are going to make a lot of sense, and most of them have to do with presentation and working towards the final presentation. So what I want to do is I want you to look at, okay, so first of all, I want to say that you have made wonderful, really good considerations based on um, some of my comments, and I don't want to take credit for my comments because a lot of my comments are based on what we've learned in the book and in the class lectures. So I guess ultimately what I'm saying is that you've learned from the class lectures through my comments or other peers' comments or whatever the situation is. You're arriving at these really super logical destinations. So that is really commendable. So as we look at the assignment requirements and the steps to success, the first thing it says is that you're going to take your booth design and render it in Illustrator, label and describe as appropriate. Use a materials list. This is one of the most important parts of the whole presentation, and I really want you to start thinking about this and getting this to a point where it's before you know it, we're going to be turning this in. So what I'd like to see, and I want to do something really quick here. I just want to go, I want to go to Safari. I'm just going to go new window, and I just want you to take a quick look at something. And let's just say, trade show booth design, how's that sound? And then we'll just go to some images. Okay, and you can see that a lot of these trade show booths, the way that they're designed, is really super friendly to the viewer because, and you can do these all in Illustrator. A lot of these have been done in 3D rendering, and that's great. And if you know how to do so, that would be wonderful. But just simply in Illustrator, we could even say trade show booth design using Illustrator. Not so crazy about what we're seeing here. So let's go back to where we were. And so you get the idea, right? You get the idea of the trade show booth. So we really need to get that done here. Because right now you got all this really awesome, cool stuff. But it doesn't look like a trade show booth. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? We really need this to look something like, I don't know, like this or something. So you're really showing the intent of the booth. Okay, right now we can't tell. So the other thing I want to mention is that I mention this to all of my students in every class I have. Think about presentation. Always think about presentation. Okay, you're a designer, meaning that everything that comes out of your studio needs to be designed, and I mean that. So as far as like these pages go, the design includes opening the design, and I'd like to see a cover page. I'd like to see a mini thesis or a mission statement where you're describing what is going on in this particular assignment. Now, I think what you're doing here is you're assuming that your viewer knows what's going on, and you're correct because we do. However, we're not familiar with what you did last week. So a lot of your classmates are going to look at this and they're not going to give you the kind of feedback that you deserve simply because there's a lot of people that aren't going to go back to last week to see exactly what you're doing. So you need to describe that in every presentation. In every subsequent presentation to every subsequent week. Now, how does that translate into the real world? Well, when you're working in a studio and you have to submit your progress reports to your art director, you're going to have to submit them in design in presentation format, meaning that your art director may be directing 7 or 8 or 17 or 18 different projects at the same time. So he or she is not going to be able to just jump right into this and say, here will be a video. They're going to be going, well, wait a second. What's the project? What's the setup? What's the premise? What's the concept? What's the mission statement? Once they read that, they can go, oh, yeah, that's right. This is Juliana's project for the sustainability. Now we're familiar. Now we can really start talking about it. For example, this is a really wonderful rendition of your pencil. And I think the pencil is a good idea to give away. I thought we were going to put a seed pack in the back of that pencil for when it was done, you could drop it in the ground and grow a tree. I thought that was the concept there. And I still think it's a really great concept. Back here in the back of the pencil, once we get it worn down to where we can't use it anymore, you pop open the back and you can plant your seeds. So I think that this, the idea here is this: is that you're talking about this plastic lumber, okay? And that's really great because, oh, by the way, you need to give your cite your sources here for your material. Hope plastic lumber to make the outside of the pen. Sources: where is Hope? Where is the source for Hope plastic? Okay, so in this Hope plastic lumber, I think that it's a really good idea, but the one thing we really need to know about this Hope plastic lumber is what happens to the shavings once we sharpen this pencil. Are the shavings, now you're saying that this is recyclable, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's biodegradable, meaning that when you sharpen this pencil and those shavings get dumped into a garbage can and the garbage gets thrown away, the shavings quite possibly could be sitting in that landfill from now till the end of eternity. So that's really important consideration. It might even outweigh using synthetic wood in lieu of using a real wood, as long as it's a renewable source from a tree farm, for example. Okay. Okay, so that covers that. And let's go this. Now, again, I really want to give a critique on this, but again, I think this is the flyer that folds into the box for to plant the seeds. But again, there's nothing describing anything here whatsoever. So we don't know how this folds. We don't know what it is. We're just at an extreme disadvantage, and I'm being a little bit melodramatic here, sure. But the point is that you really need to inform your viewer, whether your viewer just looked at this last week or not, and that's the presentation format I'm talking about. Design-wise, I suggest not using a stroke only. That's going to get really difficult to work with at small sizes. So I recommend not using that. I would use a regular font, regular typeface without the stroke. I think you're going to find that the type here is a little bit large. If you print that out and look at it, you'll see it's pretty large. But at any rate, okay, so you're doing wonderful, but those are my comments. And if you have any questions, just give me a holler. I'll be glad to clarify anything. Great job, Juliana. Thank you.